LeBron James. We put Pac-Man over LeBron.
We did.
According to Variety, LeBron is in early talks to star in an untitled comedy he collaborated on, pitching and successfully sold to Paramount. Then last night, TMZ, again, caught LeBron coming out of a dinner with Al Pacino and Leonardo DiCaprio. Ooh. Pablo, are you starting to think his acting career was a bigger factor than we realized in LeBron going to L.A.?
So let's get the video queued up on this interaction, because it is notable here that LeBron James is rubbing now elbows along with Maverick Carter, with Al Pacino featured there, with Leonardo DiCaprio, who apparently was walking out in front to distract people away from LeBron James, which is just the power move of power moves. Which reminds me, though, Bomani, yes, LeBron James does have non-basketball reasons to want to play in L.A., and there's Leo distracting us from LeBron. But, like, Leonardo DiCaprio and Al Pacino also are probably just really geeked to meet LeBron James. Like, Leo is a Lakers fan, right?
He lives in L.A. now. Those are the people to hang out with, right? Like, those are, like, in Cleveland.
Yeah.
You can't get that dinner together,
I don't know who the equivalent is. Drew Carey, is that the equivalent in Cleveland?
You can't even really get that dinner together in Miami. Like, this is how it goes when you're in Los Angeles. But the question was, are you starting to think his acting career was a bigger factor than we realized in LeBron going to L.A.? And my question is, who the hell is we? Because I feel like me and you have been talking about this for quite a while.
Yes, and in fact, if you go out, America, and read the story I wrote from however many months ago about LeBron in L.A. and his entertainment reasons, it is kind of obvious in retrospect, and I should have beaten this drum even more loudly, because one of the things LeBron talks about is how he loved The Fresh Prince, and not just because it's a great TV show, because it is, but because he always imagined himself as Will Smith. And in his quote to me, he says, "I always saw West Philadelphia as Akron, and I always saw Los Angeles as Los Angeles."
Well, also,
and now he's made it.
Well, let's try this on another level when we talk about it. Who was the last big free agent to sign with the Lakers?
Was it
Shaquille O'Neal,
right? Yeah.
And what was he doing at the time? What was he up to? What was the right? Like, Kazam had already been done by the time he got there, but it was that part of LA that made it attractive to him. Like, what you get out of going to LA, it's one thing. Like LaMarcus Aldridge, for example, like he's a guy who went, you know, he didn't go, but they tried to sell him on it. LaMarcus Aldridge can't pull the things off from being in LA that LeBron James can pull off from being in LA. He just can't do it. So for him, yeah, this is going to be a thing because he can be in movies. Al Pacino does want to hang out with him. It's going to reach a point, though, where, like, for a week or two, that's going to be cool. Then LeBron's going to be hitting these cats like, yeah, Leo, nah, we got practice. Yeah, training camp starts tomorrow. Yeah, August training camp, like a mini camp, OTAs.
LeBron is also dying to brag about something other than Trainwreck, because he was a great cameo in that. But, yeah, if you're hanging out with Pacino and De Niro, or Pacino and Leo, yeah, you got other bigger projects coming your way. Space Jam 2 would be interesting for those two guys. Kevin Durant, Bomani, another name we picked behind Adam Pac-Man Jones. On Tuesday, a 17-year-old aspiring basketball analyst posted a meme that showed Durant, Kawhi Leonard, and Anthony Davis as two-way players who couldn't lead a team like LeBron or Steph, allegedly. Kevin Durant responded in the comments, quote, "Bruh, go sweep your dorm room, you don't know hoops, stop tagging me in this trash," end quote. But he wasn't done there. Durant decided to take it to the 17-year-old kid's DMs. And Bomani, let's reenact this. We'll role play the interaction in the DMs, if you will.
I'll tell you who I don't want to be. Kevin Durant.
Okay.
I am opting to be a 17-year-old over being Kevin Durant.
Okay, so I will begin as Kevin Durant.
Yes.
Opening salvo, middle school knockoff Stephen A.
I'm the knockoff Stephen A. That's what I hear. Anyway, a 17-year-old. You know it's true. That's why your insecure bleep responded to me. Why don't you actually prove you can lead a team to a championship, not even in the same galaxy as LeBron?
Who brought up LeBron? You took it real personal. Relax, bud. It's just basketball. You've been tagging me in posts for months. I respond. You finally speak your mind. Lol. Nice. I don't care about your opinion. That's fine. I have one too, and I disagree, but you got really mad and started calling me insecure and stuff for having an opinion. Relax, buddy. Calling me a bum. Whoa.
Calling me a knockoff Stephen A. and telling me to clean my dorm room is being insecure. I'm not upset at all.
Well, I'm sorry. Didn't mean to offend you. Your sports takes are biased and skewed, and I disagree. That better? Insane. So,
why does he still do this? I figure, and look, I understand if there's anybody who is watching this who thinks that it is a bit ironic that I would chastise somebody for fighting with people on the internet. But I'm not here for long exchanges, right? I'm going for the one-hitter quitter, and I'm trying to move on. And once I realize you're a child, there's only so far that I can go with this.
Here's the thing, Bomani.
Explain your generation.
So let me explain this on behalf of Kevin Durant. He's using his own name, right? He's out here using his own. Yes,
is that what this is?
We have been calling for this on this program. So even though he is arguing with people who may or may not be through puberty, right? Even though we're talking to Instagram accounts who are meme generators and they're not knockoffs Stephen A's, right? They're not knockoffs of Stephen A, right? This is many degrees away from actual basketball analysis. But at the very least, he's providing us content by using his name.
But you can't do this. Like, you can't do this.
I mean,
like, how does it? He's like, dude, you've been tagging me for months. Dude, that block
Okay,
button,
that was a bad. I would have edited that out. Right?
Yeah,
I would have said
all of that. That makes it stop. Like, I am amazed that he can go through the volume of tweets that he receives. Because I'm starting to believe he doesn't miss any of them.
He was in YouTube comments, not just the stuff he was tagged in. He's and look, I empathize with him because we all have antennas up far taller than our ancestors did. But at the very least, he has his name on his stuff.
That's it.
Progress, Bobani. Progress.
I'm going to read off this card.
Please do.
Ben Watson. This past week, the NFL Network has been broadcasting flag football, featuring former NFL stars Michael Vick and Chad Ochocinco, and Saints tight end Ben Watson, now still in the league. His response to it has sparked an interesting discussion. Watson tweeted about flag football, quote, "We are quite possibly watching the future of pro football." Pablo, could you see a scenario where in the future NFL is a league of flag football?
So you, I believe, are the pioneer of the comparison that the NFL keeps trying to build a safer cigarette.
Yes.
And it seems that the violence here is the cigarette, right? Like that's the part that you can't really improve on. So what they're doing here is trying to say, hey, what if we took the thing that everybody criticized us as potentially becoming just flag football and just gave it to you? How would that work? And to be quite honest, there is some value here. There is some upside in seeing athletes do things very athletically, as on this video.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so we're going to watch.
We're going to watch them play flag football.
Oh, yeah.
Michael
Michael
Vick.
Vick.
We got Michael Vick back.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. Throwing passes.
Got to say, that read took a while.
A little bit rusty.
Was that Fred Rouse that caught that, by the way? And then, like, there are 8 people watching this that thinks that's interesting, but all of us think it's fascinating. There's Chad Johnson. Well, apparently he's Ochocinco again. Did he change it back, or has he just decided they're just going to let him do it out here?
Seneca Wallace shooting bullets.
One-time Heisman front runner.
Right out of Madden 08.
That's a great catch. Heart. Yeah, no, and I got to say, there's a value in this. This can be interesting to watch. You see that? You see those bleachers? Nobody's in them.
That is true.
So, I mean, here's the thing. If this is the future of the NFL will be a cute little niche sport that people will watch. But in the end, they have to be honest about this. People like smoking. People like the violence of football. It is a draw. It is part of the reason why we are there. Just watching these guys go up and down the field, because if it's real pros, nobody's going to be able to make a stop. And nobody wants to watch that.
But speaking of making stops, speaking of physical collisions of any kind, the other people not in that video, beyond people in the stands, offensive lines and defensive lines, right? We're going to be putting a lot of big people out of jobs if this proceeds.
Yeah, that is a thing, right? Like, if you are over 230 pounds, like, what you had planned to do with your life now completely changes, because the way that you could always spin it around, and maybe I just grew up in Texas, anytime you had, like, some really big, like, obese kid, at least he had football, right? Like, there was a chance. Like, 7th grade was a turning point. If you demonstrated some ability to play football, you can spin this negative into a positive. Otherwise, you're going to need to hit the treadmill. You will be correct. Maybe that's what we'll have. A lot of kids in better shape.
That's something for America. All right, next name, Steph Curry.
Oh.
Steph sat down with Sam Amick of the USA Today and addressed the idea that the Warriors are ruining the NBA. Said Steph, quote, "It's the dumbest phrase ever." End quote. Bomani, are you with Steph that it's the dumbest phrase ever to say the Warriors being too good is ruining the league?
Well, the thing that's dumb about it is the idea that the Warriors are too good. The Warriors were just in a Game 7 against the Rockets in the conference finals and were a gimpy Chris Paul away from losing that. And, by the way, if the Rockets make
27 missed three-pointers in a row.
If they make 8 shots, the Warriors are out of there. Like, we're operating as though the Warriors have been this juggernaut that's just swept everybody out of the playoffs.
That's right.
They haven't. They were down 2-1 how many times the first run? They were to a Game 7 against Oklahoma City in the second run. The third run was probably smooth. Right, they lost in that one. This team is not as far ahead of everybody else as I feel like people make the argument that they are. Now, I look at the West, and I'm not sure who the team is that is necessarily going to challenge them.
Yeah.
But no, as revolutionary as the Warriors have been, they are not so far away that there's nothing compelling there.
So the one thing, first off the top, is it is boring if you only care about who wins the title every year. I can admit that there is some predictability here, but that's always the NBA. That's how the NBA works. What's not boring is all of the ideas and discussions that are dredged up by what happens when you have a team that, even if Steph doesn't want to admit it, his owner will, a team that is actively trying to break the NBA, right? That at the very least provokes interesting discussions. But I think Ethan Strauss was the one who said this best. He put it this way. The Warriors' biggest critics are also their biggest fans.
Yes.
They, like, whatever happened to being too good to admit defeat, right? Like, you can have stands, just, you don't have to admit that they're better than everybody by that much.
Yes, I never would. Last one, Carmelo Anthony. Melo has been granted permission by the Thunder to speak with the Rockets and Heat, according to Woj. Melo's close friends to Chris Paul and D. Wade, guys on each team. But the question has to be asked. Should either team want Melo, even if they're basically getting him for free?
At that price, I think he is worth it. But I mostly just want to celebrate Carmelo Anthony here. Because he has played this, as Carmelo Anthony tends to do when it comes to matters of finance and getting his own way, perfectly, right? He's going to get paid. He's going to pick his destination as a pseudo-free agent, essentially. And guess what? Carmelo Anthony will not take a back seat when it comes to getting buckets. And that is where the complication comes in. Can you get a Melo on a reasonably moderated role? Like, is that a reasonable thing? I don't know.
Well, hold on. Let's ask a couple of things about this.
Yeah.
One, what are the Rockets supposed to do that's better, regardless of the price, right? They lost Ariza. They lost Mbamute. What are they supposed to do that's better than Melo? Like, I do think that we're going too far in talking about how bad Melo was last year with the Thunder. He's still a capable NBA player.
He can score.
Right. He can still score. But what did the Rockets do last year on offense? What was their thing?
They could have used the Carmelo Anthony three-pointer and maybe 27 consecutive.
But they played Melo ball. They ISO'd it out and everybody got their shot. Why couldn't Melo not operate in that space? So, yeah, they need to go ahead and do that. With the Heat, I find it to be a little odd. I don't think that he's the guy to put into that place. But for the Rockets, they are, like, I don't want to say falling apart, but we're watching this thing fall off at a really strange time, and as they got to figure out what to do with Capella.
Right. And for the record, Carmelo Anthony was 429th in defensive real plus minus. So that's where the literal negative comes in. But what's interesting about the Heat and about Mike D'Antoni, Spoelstra has said apparently that he wants Melo to play the 4 in Miami. Mike D'Antoni literally quit his job at the Knicks because Carmelo Anthony didn't want to play the 4. Is this man willing to play the 4 like that?
No. He's willing to play the 4 there because part of the wanting him to play the 4 before was this nonsensical idea that your franchise player needs to make room for a dude that had 2 good weeks.
Space the floor. How dare you say that about Jeremy Lin?
Melo did what he should have done.
Carmelo Anthony should have done